Well, hello everybody. I assume it's pretty late. I didn't even look at the time, but it's probably long after midnight. Been going pretty hard here tonight and today. But we're going to talk about Ukraine as it really is. History of Canada's settlers. I know I'm a fifth generation Albertan. My kids are sixth, and we have nothing but a mountain load of Ukrainian families attached to our family and on and on. So many, all the way from Sundre, Alberta, all the way up north, all the way to Peace River. Tons of Ukrainians, tons. My family's just loaded full of them. It's in my family tree all over the place. And we're going to talk about Ukraine history for all those who think somehow they know. You don't know. You don't know clearly what you're even talking about. Usually, I try, if I'm going to talk about my own culture, at least I would go read about my own culture. Everybody, before 1920, the history of Ukraine since the 1700s, Imperial Russia. That's reality. Ukraine, this massive country, was formed by Imperial Russia. Ukrainians before that time were great choices for colonization in the New World, like Canada and other places. But the Crown loved it because they were imperial subjects. They understood that they were serfs. They were going to come to Canada, get some free land, and then go through the bullshit like the rest of us. Build something tremendous, and it's true. Ukrainians are one of the largest groups of that pre-1920. We're talking 1800, well, 1900s, meaning the 18s, whatevers, before even Confederation. And it's true, all the way up through and even into the early 1905s, 10s, 15s, up to the 20s. Then you see the change. I can tell you, all of those fifth generation Ukrainians, the real settlers who built this country to what it is now, none of them ever went through communism. They all absolutely learned about Jewish persecution. So anyone saying that Russians are to blame for Jewish persecution, I'm sorry, everybody. The Jews went through thousands of years of persecution. Christianity and Jesus killers, I'm sorry. Before even what Germany did, it was already being played out in serious restrictions and racism from both Ukraine and Imperial Russia entirely. Entirely, folks. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not saying whatever. It's called the truth. It's called, please go read your history books. There's lots of papers about it. There's much you can do at any digital library. You can get this stuff. You don't even have to pay a lot of money. There's lots of papers on this from real historical historians. I don't talk out my ass. I don't give people bullshit. You think I want things coming back and, oh, look, he's fake? Do you see my videos going down, or do you hear them going, oh, he's fake news, he's fake news? They'll call me everything under the rainbow. They'll accuse me of hate speech. They'll accuse me for the littlest of thing. Regardless about truth, it's about who I offend now. That's the new Canadian society. That's the new platform. Soon a lot of things on the internet won't even be available to Canadians. Maybe these historicals won't even be made available to you. Maybe Canada's going to say, listen, we only want narratives from the fake history books, the ones that we order to be written. I don't know. But I can tell you Ukrainian history. And it's Imperial Russia. When they talk about 1,000 years of history, way older than Canada's history, and that's legitimate and true. So I'm sorry, but Imperial Russia and Ukraine, in fact, the current borders of Ukraine before Donbass were not even their borders. Ukraine was a much, much smaller country. People, go read your history books, especially if you're Ukrainian and you're talking about your history, because I know a hell of a lot more about your history than you do. We can even go through the sun gods, the origin of the Easter egg, all of it. All of it. Much, much older than Christianity. Oh, I know Ukrainian history through all the way through paganism, way, way back in history, and Ukraine's still there. But when you look at hundreds and hundreds of years of Russian integration who ruled over you, I'm sorry. What do you want me to say? Committed genocide against all those Russians for hundreds and hundreds of years of history? No, I don't think so. And you're not going to get away from historical truths in genocides. I mean, it's way back in history. Same with France, same with Britain, same with Germany. We can go on and on through Spain, Portugal, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Hundreds. Back to even 1,000 years where it's evil, slavery, atrocities, raping children. It's not even rape because it wasn't even a crime. Brutal, brutal human rights violations. I mean, we can keep going back and back, but at least learn your immediate 500-year history. If you don't know that, I don't know what to say. That's serious laziness. Anyone talking as a settler Ukrainian, meaning if you're more than if you're fourth, fifth, sixth generation, I'm sorry. You don't have a clue what you're talking about. You don't know anything about Ukraine because there's no way in your family history books you lived anything remotely close to that. Anything after 1920, you wouldn't know anything about it. If your family settled here before 1920, you don't know a thing about Ukraine. You don't. Because the Ukraine from 1920 till 2022 is completely removed from your DNA. Because if you left, or any of your ancestors left before that, that is not any country your ancestors ever knew or could even relate to in any real capacity. Because none of that history ever existed for any of the roots of your people. Sorry, that's true. And to say, oh, I know, you don't know. Because you don't even know your history, especially if you were a settler pre-1920 or your family was. It becomes cockamamie. It becomes completely false. And I think you should take the time to read your history because there's a rich, rich Russian history, more than 1,000 years, as well as Ukraine. Look at how your country changed over those years, and anyone talking pre-1920 and settler Ukrainian, those people who built this country have nothing to do with any history of Russia and Ukraine as it really was from 1920 till 2022 today. It's nothing remotely close to your history, so how the hell would you know you even talk about it? Because your family never lived it if they were settler Ukrainians. Thanks, everybody. That's my video. People may report it, say, oh, it's offensive, you're mean, it's hate speech. It's called the truth in real history, verifiable from everywhere in the world. Good night.